Welcome back to the Barrel Talk podcast. This is episode 126. Joined here with Nick Gwynn on the call. How we doing?
Real good, man. How are you doing?
We're doing all right. We back. It's All-Star season.
Yes, sir. Some NBA.
NBA trade deadline is next week. Probably have a whole episode about that, breaking that all down. But we do have some, I guess, kind of problems coming up with the new CBA rules with the game requirement for awards. Joel Embiid's probably not even going to be in the conversation for MVP anymore, being the front runner because of the game requirements. We can kind of just start out with that as a whole. Just looking around the realm of, I think it's going to be a big problem in the next coming years because then it's not going to allow the true MVPs to really get their awards, and it's always going to be like, well, it was a game requirement. This person or that person should have won MVP, kind of discrediting whoever does win it. Like, say, this year, if SGA won it, he would probably be in the conversation, but he would probably been like fourth on the list to actually win the award.
Right.
So I just think in terms of that problem.
To be fair, there's only been, in the history, there's only been three players to ever win MVP under 65 games. So it doesn't happen very often.
No.
It doesn't happen very often.
Only three.
Heard that on Nightcap.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Only three MVPs under 65 games.
That's an interesting stat because of the game requirements. Because I was sitting here trying to think of if there is a way to, I guess, maybe 50 games or so. But even then, I feel like if you're talking awards, maybe if you're looking at half the season, so like 40 games, 41 games, however you want to do it. I was sitting there thinking,
but
if you're missing half the season, you're not even going to be.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah, it's like you're not even. So it's interesting, and like Windhorse was talking on First Take about it, and they were like going deeper about it. Windhorse is like, well, the players agreed to this, so it's really just on the players.
Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, the Players Association also signed this.
Yes.
So
it just
kind of have to do it. It is unfortunate. It's kind of weird because it has to do with incentives as well with the All NBA. So
and that's what really matters.
Yeah, especially at the end of the day, fuck it, yeah, MVP, all this, but like, where people's money is involved, that's where people are going to start caring.
I forgot there was a analyst who had a vote for All NBA. I forgot who it was because it came out like a month or so ago. He pulled out his vote of being like in the realm of voting for All NBA because he feels like it's unfair for analysts to really decide All NBA and really kind of determine how much money a certain player can make, which I think is super interesting because I'm like, I really would love to see a full list of who all exactly has a vote for All NBA.
I think it depends who it is. Like, I think some media members can, but like these no names, like if some random guy on Twitter with 6,000 followers for some reason has an All NBA vote. I
would like to see an in-depth list of like who is exactly on these lists. To be voting for this because I think it's super interesting when it comes to the All NBA because Tyrese Halliburton is somebody who is going to miss out on a ton of money because of that. Because I think
he's actually injured.
Yes, they brought him.
And then that brings up another like interesting point that I also heard on Nightcap was like because he tried to come back and the Pacers were mad about it because they didn't clear him. What if that happens? Like that's a real problem because like these teams. If let's say they know they're not going to win in the playoffs, they can actually do something like that to make sure they sit Halliburton so he can't make that money.
Because that's you see
even
that
if he is fully healthy.
You see that all the time with kind of comparing this to football, like when somebody has their catches incentive or whatever, and then they'll get a call and say, "Hey,
buddy, you're done for the season."
Yes, like it would be something like that to where it makes it super interesting. And Tyrese Halliburton, I think he said he's going to possibly miss out on like $41 million because he's tried to play in the game in Boston and then he didn't play like the whole second half or like fourth quarter or whatever because of the injury. And it's interesting to see because a lot of these players, like you said, it could get to the point where like to have them lose out on having to pay them their incentive money.
Yeah.
They could end up sitting these players.
Them. Yeah, it could be worth it for them, for these teams. And I see that as a real problem.
Because you see that all the time in football. You see it all the time in football.
Yeah.
Every
end
of the season.
Sit a quarterback because if he gets 3 more touchdowns, he makes $3 more million.
or super targeted wide receiver just for some reason has 0 catches or misses
Yeah.
out on his incentive by 1 catch. It's very interesting because it weighs in on incentives a lot. I feel like that's the conversation that people aren't really talking about. They're just talking about the MVP race in general, just because it's the big topic right now with Joel Embiid. But the incentive and money for players really goes, I think, overlooked.
I think that's where the big conversation needs to be.
And I feel like the All NBA like snubs and everything else has been a big kind of conversation past couple years, because that's why I want to see who has a vote. It's because like who's actually watching these games? Are these credible people? Are they not? Or so on and so forth. But like there's like half of contracts dealing with incentives nowadays. So it's very interesting. I think the NBA, and it sucks because the players agree to it, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem.
And the thing is, I don't even like hate it because it's kind of working.
Oh, it is.
Like, we're seeing these players play a lot more.
Because I'm obviously for the players and everything else, but taking myself like out of like the players' mindset of like my thinking of the players before like business or anything else. It's working. Mm-hmm. It's working.
Kawhi played every game this year, I think. Not everyone, but he played a lot of them.
He played every game up to a certain point, because I remember they talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's obviously it's having an impact.
Because Anthony Davis played every single game up to when he got hurt against Golden State.
Yeah, he hurt his knee.
Yeah, didn't play. See, that's the kind of
LeBron was playing a lot of them.
Yes, LeBron was playing a lot of games. So it was working because it's the players' money involved, and that's obviously been the focal point of the whole entire discussion of the game limit.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of going into the Joel Embiid point, because we talk about it all the time in our group chat, like I'll say this, I am no world a Joel Embiid hater or anything else. Him sitting games, I'll joke in the chat and be like duck and smoke or whatever.
Right.
But it's the games that he's missing. I can't see. It baffles me that I see Joel Embiid go have a 70 point performance, and then a couple days later, him sit out a game against his rival at the center position for MVP on the road, warmed up before the game, 15 minutes before the game, and they got fined like $75,000 because they didn't put him on the injury report. So he didn't. Tyrese Maxey also didn't play in that game, but the matchup was Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Out of all 82 games of the season, national televised game, this is the game that this was chosen.
They had just had a banger against each other 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
but this one was in Denver, so everyone wanted to see it.
And yes, and it was crazy to me because I was actually getting ready to watch this game. I was sitting down ready to watch this game after we recorded the football episode. I think I was
too, because I watched the first one and it was fire.
And then Joel Embiid didn't play, and he was warming up 15 minutes prior to the game, and they got fined for it. It's just players are. It's almost to me like they're picking and choosing whether or not to play certain games. Yeah. And we kind of saw this. We talked about this, I think, at the start of the year with the Suns, because it seemed like too convenient to where like one of them or two of them were out every other goddamn night.
Yeah, right.
And like I understand Bradley Beal actually did have his injuries. I'm not saying anything bad about players actually being injured, but it's the what happened when you just dropped 70 just fine, and now 48 hours later, I get it, tough NBA schedule, back-to-back, long road trips and shit like that. But like a matchup against Nikola Jokic,
just fine. You dropped 70.
and I got called an old head for saying this in the group chat. I was like, I'm sorry, like a primetime matchup at your position that you're in a sense ducking, but you'll go drop 40 on Houston. You'll go drop 40 on Detroit. But like you just did the same shit to Jokic like a week, 2 weeks prior. But then that is what bugs me, because Kendrick Perkins also said a good thing on it today about First Take. He was like, all these stars that are sitting money, I'm sorry, they're not coming to see fucking Marcus Morris and Nick Batum off your bench. They're coming to see Joel Embiid. Like, and picking and choosing games to sit is crazy. Because I know, not even just Kendrick Perkins, I know there's a clip that went around about Jason Tatum talking about him like, oh, it's a random Wednesday night against the Hornets, but I'm going to play. Yeah. Because there's people that come out to see you play. That's all I'm getting at. Because it's the certain matchups where I'm thinking, and then tonight, Bron and AD aren't playing against the Celtics, national TV game. They're both now out.
Yep.
They're
They're
both
both
out.
out. Yep.
I think that's more people are getting moved off that team within the next week because the deadline is
And
next
the
week.
Lakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deadline is
D'Lo.
next week.
See you later, buddy.
He got his trade value up though for sure.
Yeah, he did.
But that's my whole thing with the whole Joel Embiid thing. Like, I'm not saying that he's ever just not injured at all, but
I don't like. I think we just need more information. Like, if you're really hurt, like, let us know.
just say
Like,
something.
that's why we all think you're not, because like we just don't know.
People,
and then 15 minutes before the game, we're told you're out. Like, just let us know.
And it's because he had a game against Golden State, had the fall, had Jonathan Kuminga land on his leg. Kind of looked similar to the Kyrie Irving and Dwight Powell injury. But it's more so like giving more information for sure. But it's to the point now where players are sitting games to try and stay healthy for the playoffs. But they're sitting games to prevent injuries. They're not sitting games because they're actually hurt.
Yeah. That's what I think like the Suns were doing low key.
Yes.
Was like with like, hey, we can play with this one guy and hopefully we can win. We can just sit KD.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night we'll sit Booker.
See, and the whole thing about that is when I'm looking in, if it's end of season, whatever, you got your seating locked up, you can't move if you win or lose. No, power to you. Don't care about that.
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah.
But it's to the point where I had this whole gripe with Kawhi and load managing, because this is where all of it really stemmed from.
Pop.
Yes,
Popovich
and the load management whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's how you get hurt. It's no figure to where when you try to load manage in the regular season and then to get healthy for the playoffs and then get thrown into playoff NBA basketball.
Start playing 40 minutes and then all of a sudden
you get hurt.
Can't do it.
It's happened to Kawhi past 2 years? The series when they probably could have went to the finals.
Probably beat us. They were probably going to beat us last year, 2 years ago, whatever.
It was when Phoenix went to the finals. He got hurt against Utah last year. Gets hurt against the Suns last year.
Yep. Yeah, that was last year.
2 instances where Kawhi Leonard, kind of the flag, like poster boy for load management, who has been way better this year. So he takes load managing throughout the entire regular season, gets hurt in the playoffs. Happened 2 times. And then you see with Joel Embiid, who has only been healthy 1 time in the entirety of his career in the playoffs, in the bubble against Boston, where they got swept. That's the only time Joel Embiid has been fully healthy during the playoffs. It has to be a mix of load managing and not being in shape come playoff time, because playing basketball gets you in shape to play basketball. I don't know if people think that's crazy, but like,
that's kind of how that works.
It's kind of how it works. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of playoff injuries stem from when it comes from load managing. Load managing sounds a lot better than what it actually is, in my opinion.
It makes more sense on paper.
Yes.
It does. It does. I don't know, man. I don't know. 65 games seems
reasonable. I think it
reasonable to me.
Because if you're playing at that elite level to win an NBA award, I think you would have to play that amount of games.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's obviously working.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the players are going to get mad in a couple years to an agreement they agreed to when it comes down to the point of they're losing out on incentives. When I see Jeremy Grant
getting all NBA because he's the only dude playing 65 games, I'm like, fuck.
I'm okay with it right now just because it's really year 1 of it.
Yeah. They're gonna adjust it. It's gonna get better.
Yeah. The only problem I think I'm gonna have is don't discredit, say SGA wins the MVP. Don't discredit SGA because Joel Embiid didn't play the amount of games. Don't discredit somebody who played the amount of games to say, oh, well, they won it only because of this and this. No, if you didn't meet the games requirement, then you're not even in the conversation. Don't discredit other people for you not playing that amount of games. Or the media is going to discredit players in getting awards for another player, their favorite player, to win the award for not reaching the game requirement. That's all that is. That's all I don't want to see.
Yeah. And that's just what's going to happen, sadly.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
I hope it doesn't, but I literally see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I see Luka winning the MVP and them just being like, well, Joel Embiid played 62. If he played 3 more games, he would have won it.
Yeah,
So this doesn't really count.
The narratives in the media, but we can kind of get into reacting kind of to the NBA All-Star starters who got announced last week. The reserves get announced tonight on TNT in the halftime of like the Celtics game or whatever. But
yeah,
I'm honestly pretty okay with everybody on this list except for one person. Only one person. You got to have Jalen Brunson above Dame. He's just been having a better season.
I agree. I do agree.
I think Jalen Brunson.
I don't know how Dame got a starter spot. That was crazy to me.
The All-Star voting has always been weird to me, but Jalen Brunson is legit averaging career highs in every single statistical category, and he's averaging more in every stat than Damian Lillard. And the Bucks have been strong. I try not to put like.
I guess the Bucks are the 2 seed, but
I'm trying not to put like success into like an All-Star award because I don't think that is where it is anyways. But I just think Jalen Brunson as a whole has just been having a better season. Like you could argue Jalen Brunson has been playing the best guard in the Eastern Conference.
In the East. Yeah, him or Halliburton.
And Halliburton starting.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting because I highly doubt Joel Embiid even plays in the All-Star game.
Ooh.
Due to
Live
injury.
Trade. Steven Adams to the Houston Rockets for Victor Oladipo and 3 second-round picks.
Really, that just happened?
That just happened.
Victor Oladipo even... I guess.
I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. That's weird.
But I do think Joel Embiid probably won't play in the All-Star game just due to injury. So they'll probably have a filler spot for him. But I'm pretty fine with everybody on here except I just think Jalen Brunson should have got the nod to start.
I do as well.
So everybody else, I mean...
I can't argue with anybody else on there.
No. I do have kind of like my reserves that I would like to see and that I think is going to happen. I can just start out with the East. You obviously got Jalen Brunson, Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey. Julius Randle's an interesting one. But I think he'll be kind of replaced because his injury with the shoulder. But I have him on here. And then Paolo Banchero.
God damn it, we have the same ones.
Yeah, that's who I got for the East. We're not going to have the same on the West, though.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, no, definitely not. I have a crazy one in the West, but yeah, I got mine. I did mine in an order. I guess I didn't. But yeah, Brunson, D. Mitch, Julius Randle. Julius Randle, like you said, will probably get replaced. Bam, Tyrese, Paolo, and Jaylen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy. I mean, East is a little bit less filled with players.
I think
there's a little bit of a drop off after that.
I think the West is just a lot deeper in terms of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
in the East,
because you could argue like somebody like Lauri Markkanen.
I'm trying to look at the people that in the West,
Lauri Markkanen will probably, if he was in the East, be closer to getting a reserve spot than he is in the West, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, I'm looking at in the East, there's still just gonna be a few good snub, like Trae Young. I guess Jimmy Butler didn't play enough games, but Kuzma was playing good. Mikal Bridges, but he wasn't really playing like that. LaMelo.
But he was also in and out of the lineup.
Yeah. But yeah, like after who we have, it was a little bit of a fall off besides like Trae Young.
Mm-hmm. And even Trae Young, you could argue. I feel like if you wanted to.
Derek White, I mean, hey.
Whatever that clip was that I saw of Derek White's better than Jalen Brunson, I just thought that was I threw up when somebody sent that to our group chat. But going over to the West, I have Steph, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, De'Aaron Fox. Mm-hmm. This is my kind of like out of the realm pick. Just because you got to show some love to the bigs in an All-Star game. They're the 1 seed. I have Rudy Gobert.
Oh.
I have Rudy Gobert. Okay. He's back to somebody that everybody loves to give a lot of hate to. He's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year again this year. They're the 1 seed. They're been super successful this year compared to last year when everybody was ready to just throw this whole team away. I think you got to show some. I feel like bigs get thrown well under the bus in the All-Star game. And I think it was either him or Sabonis gave it a nod to Rudy. They're the 1 seed. I try not to put too much success, but I feel like Minnesota deserves to at least have 2.
Respect. So you did have Anthony Edwards on yours?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure. Okay. Damn, so you didn't have Book in yours? Interesting.
It's tough. I mean,
yeah, no, it is. It is. I just realized now I don't have Sabonis, and I didn't even think about him when I was putting it in.
Because it's so weird. Because I didn't want to.
Didn't even think about it.
I didn't because I try not to like. Because obviously, if you were going all guards, there might not be a big outside of Joel Embiid and Jokic on the All-Star team.
Right.
So
AD
and AD, yeah.
AD.
So it's tough. I wanted to show at least love to one of the other bigs in the West, like Rudy, Sabonis, and Sengun. Interesting one.
Sengun.
I don't think Chet's. Nah.
I don't think Chet.
No. Cat
maybe.
Cat. So it's gonna be released tonight, but
yeah,
it's gonna be very interesting to see.
I got Anthony Davis, Kawhi, Paul George, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Curry, and then I just fucked around and went Wembanyama.
Fan vote.
I'm giving love to the rookie.
Fan vote.
Yeah, pretty much a fan vote. I ain't even a big fan of him, but I'm giving him the fan vote for people, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's interesting.
He's going crazy. Like, I'd be betting his unders, so I know how crazy he'd be going. I'll see him play 22 minutes and drop fucking 38 PRAs on my head.
Mm.
He's just going. I did not expect this at all from Wemby. I didn't consider myself a hater, but I did not expect him to come out dropping 25, 10, and 6.
I was also one to where I thought it was because I feel like I always get labeled as a hater in our group chat.
You definitely do.
I definitely get labeled as a hater. I feel like I just try to be realistic as much as I can. Is he nice? Yes, he's fucking nice. But like I also try to like give myself benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, we gotta see it. Everybody says these unicorns.
Yeah, no, I had to see it too, 100%.
And like when I say, that's all I say. I gotta see it. I get labeled as a hater. I'm just like, I gotta see it. I just gotta see it. That's all it is.
Yeah. So I put Wemby again. There's like 4 other people. I could have put De'Aaron Fox. I could have put Sabonis, Sengun. I had Cat in there originally, but I took him out. The West, like we said, Lauri Markkanen, not even in talks on our side.
No.
But he could have made it. I mean, hey, James Harden's having a good season.
People don't want to talk when shit going good in the Clippers. All of a sudden, people shut up about Harden and Westbrook. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Westbrook is going.
I ain't heard shit about. I ain't heard
this year.
I ain't heard anybody say shit about Westbrook. They only want to talk about you when you're bad. They only want to talk about you when you're doing bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing.
It's crazy. But I am happy about the Clippers. I can't believe they're going this crazy.
Because I'm a Paul George guy. I'm a Paul George fan. So I'm glad we're seeing this.
I was always like a 75% fan of both Paul George and Kawhi. I'm just like a 7.5 out of 10 on them. They're cool. But now they're going crazy and they're actually healthy. So I'm like, damn, these guys are going crazy.
This kind of go right into our next topic about who are the real contenders. I know I did a whole kind of let's talk about it on kind of contenders and pretenders. But I obviously changes the list throughout the year. But as of right now and what I got it at.
February 1st.
Oh, I got to pull up my note. So, and where I had it at, I only have 4 contenders. I have 1 team right on the edge. 3 I don't knows.
Oh, wow.
2 fake contenders. And then 3 not there yet. When I say not there yet, 1 move away.
Okay. Damn. You have 4 real contenders?
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna start on the bottom or the top?
I'm gonna start from the not there yet. Just one move away. First Pacers. They've already kind of made their one move. I think they need to pivot and make another one because when I watch the Pacers, like I did against the Celtics, I mean they just can't guard. They can't guard. I think your best defender is probably Aaron Neesmith and then Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, they give up.
Miles Turner is a good rim protector. He's a rim protector. I don't think Miles Turner is that great of a actual defender, but
he's more like I think he's more like a help side defender.
Yes, a help side defender. But I think the Pacers are still a whole year away because I feel like you can. The whole narrative is, oh, they can have the puncher's chance and outscore anybody in the playoffs. I'm like, but they can also just like all it takes is for them to not have it offensively, and then they're going to lose that game.
Yeah, one game where you can't when you're not shooting, 50%. Goodbye.
And they have the depth and still they have the capital. I wish. See, now while I'm looking at what they got for Siakam, I'm like, damn, how much more would it have cost you to get Siakam and OG? Like, how much more would it have cost you to get both of them? See, that's interesting to me because they still have young talent throughout their roster and a good amount of draft capital to use. But I think they're one move away. Another team, Pelicans. I feel like I just don't. Pelicans are a team where like they remind me a lot when we talk about Jacksonville, where like they got talent, but you can never really find the point problem. You can never really find like what's the problem with the team.
What the issue is.
Like what's wrong with the team. I think they need a better fitness design in the front court, but I don't know. It's just they have the wing depth, they have the shooting, they have the defense. Like CJ's your point guard. I like that because I think it's tough to play him at the 2 sometimes, and you have a bad defending guard at your 1, kind of what we saw in Portland. But it's more so I can never really figure out what exactly is holding this team back. I wanted to say it was Zion, but Zion's been relatively healthy this year. So and they're just floating around kind of a little bit above the play-in and the play-in right now. So like I can never really figure out what is wrong with that team.
Sometimes I be thinking it's CJ. I don't know. I'll look at the box score. CJ 2 for 9. Why are you taking only 9 shots? Like doing nothing. I don't know.
I can also
CJ's always been a weird fit to me.
I also think that Brandon Ingram kind of takes too much of a step back. Because I think if they wanted to go far, I think Brandon Ingram needs to be your best player. And I also think Brandon Ingram I see moments and times where he kind of really takes a step back. And it's just, I feel like their offense kind of sputters at times and they're not as good offensively as they probably should be. But I don't know, that's also just me. Another contender or another team that I have that's not there yet is Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
I don't think the Sacramento Kings are there yet. I thought that they kind of missed out on the Pascal Siakam move. But I also talked in that Let's Talk About a video about how Siakam's on the last year of his deal, and there's also been rumors about him not re-signing. So I understand that. And you already have Keegan Murray there at his position. I just feel like they need to really bring in something. They need to bring in another scorer because they're another team that just can't really fucking defend.
Yeah, they cannot defend.
Like
they really can't.
You're not beating Denver or the Clippers if you're not able to defend.
Dude, they were beating us by like 22 with less than 4 minutes left when we came back and won.
And they have a ton of close games where they've lost.
Yes.
I
don't know what it is. One thing I know is De'Aaron Fox just loves to fucking miss late game free throws. He loves it. He lives for it. Keep this dude off the line if there's less than a minute left. Man, I don't know. Yeah, they can't defend. Their role guys just have such on and off days.
Like Kevin
Huerter either has 28 points or he's 0 for 7.
Yeah. Keegan Murray's kind of that same way. And then it's like
Malik Monk will come off the bench, get you 20.
It's tough because like they really do need. Is that trade going to happen? I don't think so. But they really do need a Zach LaVine, somebody who can really just go score and get his own shot. Because outside of De'Aaron Fox, you have nobody that's really going to get your own shot off that and your starting five. And really, even on your bench, you don't really have anybody that's going to, other than Malik Monk. Malik Monk's your secondary shot creator off your bench.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you, like, your defense is already bad enough. I mean, why not add Zach LaVine? Like, and just be an offensive juggernaut.
And just kind of accept what you are.
Yeah.
And go all in on it.
Mm-hmm. But those are kind of my one, not there yet.
I like it.
My I don't knows is Dallas. I never know, because when you have Luka, you can kind of really. I think if you have a healthy Luka and Kyrie, you can beat anybody in the league. I really truly do believe that, because of how much of a problem they both are. But it's just like, we're starting to come around to the conversation that I was going to make a whole episode about. Is like, is ISO ball doesn't get you championships. We're kind of seeing that with James Harden. I put Trae Young in the conversation, and I put Luka in that conversation. They are systems, but they are. I don't think they result in winning as much as you would think.
I don't think so either. ISO ball is so ugly to watch, bro. I hate it.
And you kind of just. I was kind of gonna say this in when I talked about my next episode, is like, I put Trae Young in the same category as James Harden and Luka, has in they can in our systems, but instead of like James Harden and Luka, Trae Young is 6 foot, 5'11".
Yeah.
So he's so much harder to defend, so much harder to hide defensively compared to a James Harden who's 6'5", same to Luka who's 6'6", 6'7", who you can just put on the opposite team's 4 who don't score the ball or get touches like that. But Trae Young, I mean, if you put him on a big, they're just gonna post him up and go get him. And with how the league is going, like, damn near everybody in the starting five can go create for themselves on certain teams. So that's all my whole thing with Dallas is like, obviously got the talent. You have one of the best players in the world, MVP candidate in Luka. You have a Kyrie Irving. You have good role players around him. Maybe you go make another move to go get maybe another wing to defend. I think that would help them. But
yeah, I think Grant Williams has been like so hit or miss. He's shooting at an okay clip, but like he ain't defending. He ain't defending like he was supposed to. Derek Lively is good as just running the rim. Tim Hardaway is I feel like he's having a really good season. He's probably leading sixth man, I would assume.
I haven't even looked at any odds for sixth man. I haven't either,
but I would assume he's leading sixth man voting. Or not voting, just odds. I don't know, man. So I feel I've been in the same spot. I feel like I don't know with this team. It's just some nights. I mean, obviously you're gonna have the nights where Luka's just gonna go insane, drop you a 40-point triple double, but Kyrie's missed a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. So next team is the Wolves. Just because we've seen this kind of a version of this team, not the same exact team, a version of this team kind of really go into the realm of blowing up in the playoffs, because when they played Memphis, I do believe they really should have won that series at the end of the day. Bunch of blown leads on the road and at home, but they really should have took care of Memphis. I do think they could have went to the second round, because when they were playing home games in Minnesota, it was rocking in there for sure. So the Wolves are a team where, like, and then you got the whole Rudy Gobert cloud hanging over you. Is like, is he kind of getting played off the court in certain playoff games with teams going small ball and everything like that? We've seen Cat have his problems in the playoffs. You have for sure a guy in Anthony Edwards, but like, if you have Cat over here underperforming and Rudy Gobert unplayable, there goes two of your top 3 best players. So it's like, then it's like, what do? You're really hanging your hat on your defense. Your offense is kind of super hit or miss for times, depending on what Karl-Anthony Towns you get night to night. But I still don't know, and this is a team that's the 1 seed, so it's tough. But I have them, and I don't know, because it's more so I have to see it.
They're like the Cowboys, dude. They're the Cowboys of the NBA. They got all the talent. It's just these guys are so known for not showing up, or Gobert getting played off the floor. That's just something the Cowboys would go through, man. And then one guy just plays like shit. Timberwolves have looked nice, especially defensively.
Yeah, they are. They've looked nice. I just gotta see it. Next team I have OKC. I see a lot of people ready to put OKC in superb contenders. I'm not there yet because I think this team could use a little bit more shooting. Yes, SGA, they have a little bit more playoff experience than people would think because SGA has been in the league for some time. He's been in the playoffs before. But to the rest of that roster, super young, could use another big off your bench just because I feel like Chet would thrive a lot more at your 4 sometimes in certain instances against certain teams.
Yeah, certain minutes.
Yes.
Run him at the 4.
Because they don't really have a backup big at all. I think they could use a little bit more shooting. But their team, they're reminding me a lot of the big 3 in OKC. Now, like, when I'm saying that, they remind me of the talent that they had and how young they were. You're immediately going to think, if you go back to when they went to the finals and they lost to Miami, you would immediately think, if you ask somebody, is this team ever going to get back to a finals? You would immediately think, absolutely they would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They never did. They never did. And I see OKC with all these assets, all these tradable guys and these draft picks, and I'm like, oh, I understand being patient because you can fuck up deals and trades. We've seen it happen. But I'm like, there is no guarantee you're going to have Chet, SGA, everybody healthy on your roster playing this way. Obviously, Chet's a rookie in his rookie year, but like, there's nothing guaranteed in the league. And I think being patient can hurt teams more than anything. Like it hurt that OKC team.
If you're too patient.
You can be
too patient.
You can be way too patient, and them not cashing in. I'm not saying you gotta like go blow it up at this deadline and go get some superstar. No, but like you're looking at this team completely different if it's Mikal Bridges that you're trading for, and you're not giving up shit because you have all your draft assets. You're looking at them a lot differently. Of just this year, teams are thinking too much future and not much of this year because like. You compete with Denver. You compete with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Like why be patient and wait 2 to 3 years to go make an all-in move when you have the assets to do it now?
Yeah, you already have the star player. You got a few really good role players. There's no reason not to do it now.
And with all the young talent and draft picks you have, like they're the only team in the league to where I'm like,
who are they getting though?
That's why I like being patient because maybe see some shit happen in the playoffs.
Mikal would be fire,
but like
I don't think
you need like what when you say like what they need, it's like who are they gonna get? I'm like, you have the assets to go really get anybody that comes available. It's not like you need a superstar caliber player with the new CBA rules anyways. It's gonna be hard to go buy your way to a championship because that whole era is done in the NBA. But I think in terms of what you have draft wise, adding a piece, kind of what Toronto did when they won a chip, they had all that from drafting well. They added Kawhi Leonard, went to a championship. Like kind of in the same realm of Warriors with KD. They had drafted well. They had that foundation and that core from drafting. Add KD, championships, obviously. But like Denver Nuggets, drafted well. Added role-playing guys, won a championship. So like most of these cores are built off draft. So like I don't think they need to go get like a fucking superstar. But like a Mikal Bridges on this team, okay. Now you match up with
we're talking.
Yes, now you match up with hella teams. Because I feel like they're missing that bigger, long wing defender and a backup big. Just because I feel like Chet could go flourish at the 4.
I think they should have gotten. How long is Steven Adams out?
Oh my god, fucking the whole year.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
The whole year. And I just think being patient can kind of kill teams, and in a world where OKC dealt with the same problem a decade previously, where they had hella young talent, went 1 year, never went back. Like I think it's interesting to kind of see and how patient they are, but then I have one team that's right on the edge, just because of how they've been playing. I got New York. New York's my team on the edge. Like, Jalen Brunson deserves some MVP love. I'm sorry. He does.
Some MVP love.
He does. He does. He's playing like the best guard.
He's playing great.
He's playing the best guard. What? I can't even name a guard that's playing better than him this year. Julius Randle goes out. They're still fucking taking care of teams. Shea and Tyrese Halliburton are the only two guards you could say have been having a better season than Jalen Brunson. You add OG, who's been like the best plus-minus player in the league since he's got there. They're winning games.
Hartenstein's playing fire.
Hartenstein's playing fire. You have DiVincenzo playing fire. They kind of have figured out what they're doing on the bench, and it still feels like they're going to pivot to another move within the next week or so because you have Julius Randle out, and they're still winning fucking games.
It's so crazy because they're like everyone else is playing at such a high pace and giving up so many points, and like they're really not.
No,
their defense is crazy.
They stick to what they do well, and you can't blame them for that. Same with kind of like the Miami Heat. They're going to stick to what they do well. They're going to defend at a super elite level. And you're not going to see them ever really get out of character. Like, and that goes to, like, because I think of New York and Miami as kind of, like, culture-wise kind of the same team because of, like, what they're built off of. But they're just right. They're, like, right on the edge. Like, this team were to go out and pick up maybe another vet off that bench, then I'm like, okay. Like, for example, like, I said it in my other video of Kyle Lowry. Just adding somebody else off your bench to where you can fit in the Tibbs role. I really like Malcolm Brogdon. I love Malcolm Brogdon.
I like Brogdon.
Because he can kind of start for you or come off the bench, and he's a bigger guard next to Brunson. I like that fit there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dante, and who's their other backup guard?
Miles McBride, and then Josh Hart kind of floats around wherever you need.
Josh Hart be doing whatever.
And then Precious 2 is kind of their backup 5 right now.
Yep, because he came in the trade with OG.
So,
just like maybe a backup 1 or 2, and he's looking solid.
Yeah, because they're right on the edge. And then the 4, I'm going to get a lot of flack for one of them. I got Denver, Boston, Clippers, and Miami. Listen, I know Miami's on a losing streak.
Miami?
I know Miami's on a losing streak. Listen, past couple years, last year, playing finals. Beat all y'all favorite teams. All y'all favorite teams. All of them. Beat them. Beat the Knicks, beat the Bucks, and beat the Celtics. Took the hard road. Went to the chip. Bubble year. Went to the chip. Beat Boston. Conference finals. Beat them again. I mean, until I see this team, they're the team where, benefit of the doubt, y'all got it. Because y'all ducked no kind of smoke in the East. Y'all ducked no kind of smoke. So, they got benefit of the doubt. Clippers been playing super high-level basketball. Love what they're doing. Boston, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Denver. And then, I just feel like those are my 4 personal contenders.
I mean, we got to talk about how bad Terry Rozier has been since getting traded to the Heat.
He fit into the culture.
He has 1 game above 33% field goal. God damn.
He was in Charlotte for so long.
He will get it together. That's the thing. He is literally a professional scorer.
Yeah, no,
he will get it together.
I ain't sure about Terry Rozier. I ain't sure about this Miami team.
The thing is, we can say the Heat are ass all we want. We know that if they make it to the playoffs, they're gonna make it a rough series for whoever they play.
I promise you. No, I promise you, the top teams in the East don't want to see him. I promise you, the Bucks don't want to see him.
It's gonna be Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Jimmy Butler.
Bam. Who they run? And then you have Caleb Martin.
Well, who they run? Yeah, Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith. They got Hawkwez.
Yes, and then you can still go. You still
got Duncan Robinson, who's playing really good.
So this is a deep team. They really go 8 and 10 deep. But I promise you, Milwaukee don't want to see them first round. They don't want to see them.
They don't.
Boston for damn sure don't want to see them. Not in the first round. New York. I like New York chances in that series. Beat them last year with a worse roster.
That series is going to be 90-90 every game.
And it's crazy because people say this. And people always want to say Miami ain't a contender. They did that last year without their second best scorer.
Yeah, Tyler Hero literally just wasn't playing.
So they didn't have Tyler Hero.
Broke his hand.
Still smacked Boston and New York. So, like, looking at it, I'm like, they're fine with seeing New York. Oh, God. They're just fine with seeing Cleveland, too. Whoever they play, it don't matter. They're going to make it tough. They're going to turn it into a Miami Heat's level series to where it's going to be low scoring. Defense will be played. Like, they ain't tripping about no
You will not score 120. That will not happen.
That's why I have them in contenders. They are the most fearless team in the league. They don't care who they play, and they will just be just fine. Because we've seen this year in, year out. Low seed, smacked Milwaukee. Didn't matter. Smacked Boston, goes to the chip. And I feel like we've been seeing Boston, Miami at the chip past couple years.
Yeah. My only problem is I just don't know if they. I mean, like, again, I said this last year, but I don't know if they can keep it together for 4 series, even 3 to like get to.
I think they kind of in the 2 finals series. I feel like in the bubble, I feel like they got completely fucking gassed getting there. And I think last year was more so Denver was just
getting
good.
out. Yeah, Denver was insane last year.
So I think the 2 times they've been to the finals are those kind of 2 reasons of why they've lost. Because Denver was just I don't think anybody out the East would have beat Denver last year. So
right now, the Miami Heat are the 7 seed play in.
That's right where they want to be.
So
that's right where they want to be.
Hey.
I ain't even we still got so much
2 games out of the 6 seed.
We still got so much ball in the season.
A lot of ball to play.
And then
a lot of ball to play.
My fake contenders. This is one that.
What was the group of what was that group?
The contenders.
That was just the contenders.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got fake contenders.
Oh my! Joel Embiid suffered a torn meniscus.
Really?
Yeah, per Woj. Breaking news.
All right. Well, this goes right.
All right, Shea MVP.
This goes perfectly.
Let's go.
Perfectly. Because on my fake contenders list is the Sixers dealing with Joel Embiid obviously being injured now. And also, this was due to Joel Embiid constantly and consistently showing up small in the playoffs. So that was more so my fake contenders. And my 2 other ones, the Bucks, because I don't think it's just the year for them to go win next year. They're dangerous next year. Same with Phoenix. Same with them and Phoenix.
No.
Those 2 teams, fake contender. Next year, go.
Oh.
You traded for stars. You saw that shit how it's going right now. Get an off season under your belt. Full season with the team. Don't go out here and trade Bradley Beal in the off season now because you go be just in the same spot. 2 teams. Wait on it. Be patient. Get healthy. Get some better role players in there and y'all be fine. That's why they're fake contenders. Because they got talent. Not this year. Not this year.
I can't argue with it.
Not this year.
We look like shit in the 4th quarter.
So Joel Embiid, torn meniscus.
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay, so I have it in my notes right here. One thing I did want to talk about before we got into the MVP talks, and it's kind of segue into that. Hear me out. This just happening. If I'm Daryl Morey and I'm the Sixers, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, did the whole process. Joel Embiid's obviously MVP caliber player, MVP level talent. I think they could think about trading him. I truly believe this. Even
Isaac Stollmeyer, do you hear this?
Even before the injury that we just happened. Let's take a step back to a couple weeks ago where he was leading MVP, had 70, right? Think about and predict the future. If they went to the playoffs again, got to the second round, and just lost to Boston again, or just lost to Milwaukee, lost to Miami or New York, you lose in the second round again with Joel Embiid having an MVP caliber season. You're sitting here thinking, or Joel Embiid ends up getting hurt in the playoffs. Whatever happens, you lose. You're sitting here and you're like, Tyrese Maxey was already playing at all-star level. How much better is Tyrese Maxey going to get? You have Tobias Harris, and I think Tobias Harris as your 3 is elite. People love to hate on Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris been putting up elite level numbers. There ain't too many guys that are going to give you like 18 to 22 on his amount of shot attempts efficiently. And he's an underrated defender at his position. He gets way too much hate. But you're looking at this team and you're like, if they were to trade Joel Embiid and build around Maxey, how bad? Like, but don't wait too long to trade Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
I think they need to really think about this, because how many years can you go with Joel Embiid and how he plays and how his injury history is, where you can just, hope he's healthy by the playoffs? You're at the point in time where you're load managing games and sending him games so he doesn't get hurt, not that he's hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm sitting here,
I see it. I see the vision.
Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like,
I do.
There's
I
a
do.
vision in a world where they look at that. Even before the injury, if they lost this year in the playoffs, you're like, we can't just keep running it back. We can't keep running it back. Who are we going to blame this year? Because you blamed Doc last year. You blamed Harden last year. You blamed Ben Simmons the years before that.
Yep. It's always something.
It's always something. It's always something else. But what's the same constant? It's either a Joel Embiid injury or Joel Embiid not playing like he did in the regular season. Those have been the same two spots everywhere he's gone. And I said earlier that Joel Embiid, his only healthy playoff run, obviously I'm not putting it all on him. Some of it has been due to bad luck and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Last series he was healthy. It was against Boston in the bubble, and they got swept. So there is a world where they look to trade him. There is a world, because the pull you would get back for Joel Embiid at an MVP level is enough to make you think about, damn, we got Tyrese and this and this and this and draft picks, and okay, you're gonna be off Tobias Harris contracts this summer, so you're gonna have cap space.
Is it this summer? Is that okay? I didn't know if he was expiring this year.
So you're gonna have cap space. You could definitely move Joel Embiid if you got to that realm. But now people are gonna look.
I mean, you're getting a shit ton.
Yeah, and I'm like,
for Embiid.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, because this is what I thought about last night. I want to tell you, I was cooking for the pod today. I was like, man, what teams could really be like, okay, we have enough to go get Joel Embiid? I think the Knicks are a super interesting conversation. And it's just like,
okay,
it's really like what teams happen in this playoffs. It's where you're like, because teams love to panic. What teams have enough?
Like, what if the Thunder just do it and just move Chet to the 4?
I think about.
I do see your vision, because I mean you're right. Like it's something's always
you can't
something is always just
yes you cannot continue to just run it back and run it back and run it back and run it back, because eventually Joel Embiid is just going to decline. He's a big man. Once they get up there in age, he's not going to be performing at an elite level with how he plays.
These injuries will catch up.
Yes, they will.
It's going to catch up,
and I think
especially at his weight and everything. Like
with how smart Daryl Morey is as a GM. It would be crazy to me if it hasn't already crossed his mind. Because if they were to get bounced this year in the playoffs, no doubt in my mind he could have been traded. That's just smart.
Yeah.
That's just looking ahead to the future. Because if you can't beat Boston, and Joel Embiid past 2 seasons been playing his best basketball of his career, you can't beat Boston now, past 2 years. What makes you think you go beat him next year when they just have the same team and they're probably better? Milwaukee, when they go get better role players and reload, like Miami always go be there. Like New York on the up and up. Cleveland ain't no slouch. Like what team? Like there's a world where you kind of look to kind of move Embiid. I know it might sound crazy now because of how he's an MVP candidate, but it's in the realm of possibility, and they need to think of it. I can see it.
I'm trying to figure out what they got for James Harden. They got Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 first rounder, 2 second rounders, a pick swap, and another first round pick. Goddamn.
If it's a Joel Embiid trade, I would assume it's a 3-teamer. But like,
any reason why? Or just because?
What'd you say?
Why?
Why a 3-teamer? Just because I feel like money is going to be hard to move in the NBA in the next couple of years to where you would be able to do it.
Fuck it. I mean, here's the thing. Just send him to Golden State.
I was about to say that they're another team to where.
I mean, hey, that Clay contract might get the money right.
I think you could do. Nuts like
Clay, Kuminga, and your next 12 years of picks.
I'm thinking Wiggins, Kuminga, picks. At least you have Wiggins, who's younger than Clay, and you're not just have that for the Sixers next to Maxey.
I was just thinking because Clay has that expiring.
True. It depends.
That was the only reason I was thinking
contracts
that.
and everything. I didn't really look into too much. I was just saying, kind of
that's going into
thinking
it
the
more.
idea. I think New York.
Yeah.
I think OKC obviously has enough to go trade for anybody they want if whoever becomes available. Golden State's super interesting. Sleeper. Kings. Listen, super interesting. Y'all got hella young talent in all your draft picks. If you were to move Sabonis,
wow,
go get Joel.
Sabonis gets traded again.
Listen, I'm just kind of thinking out of the realm right now.
I get it,
but I think the Joel Embiid could possibly be moved. I think that it's a conversation that's going to start to come up in the summer for sure. Especially now with the injuries, I'm like, you can't just keep running it back. You can't do it.
Yeah,
and you know you got. I can see it. You got Maxey. So
I get all depends on just how this year ends.
Mm-hmm. And now Joel Embiid with the meniscus.
Now with his meniscus,
there is definitely a world where he's back by playoffs. But what version of Joel Embiid are you getting? So
yep, they're the 5 seed right now, about 10 games up out of the playoffs, so they should be okay.
They should be fine.
You never know.
But it's just by the time you get to the playoffs, you're looking at first round exit if you don't have the Joel Embiid at what you need him to be at health wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But and then last thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Last thing to kind of wrap up this episode is just MVP talks, just because it's up in the air now. So the odds for MVP, Jokic is the favorite. Then SGA, then Luka, then Giannis, then Joel Embiid was plus 2,000, but he's going to be taken out of that realm. But I know the other two on there were Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson at plus 3,000 odds. Like I said, I think Jalen Brunson deserves love. For sure.
Yeah.
I think
this might be the Luka year.
You think so?
I mean, he's plus 550 right now. That's who I would go with. But I guess that obviously he has to go through the end of the season. But he's just been doing everything. And with Kyrie being hurt, he's still keeping them up afloat. They're still they're the 8 seed. So 4 games above 500.
Here, Jalen Brunson at plus 3,000. Hear me out.
That's some value.
That's some
value. Especially with Randall being out, if they keep going.
They're on an 8-game win streak right now. They're 1 game back of the Bucks for the 2nd seed. So they could be the 2 seed. And then you can kind of have that argument where damn, Jalen Brunson lost his 2nd best player and he was still holding this team afloat. And then I hear an argument for Shea. OKC, they're the 2nd seed. Knicks 2nd seed too. So what's your argument with Shea against Brunson?
Yeah.
So I personally think, because I don't think Jokic is going to win it again.
I don't think so either. I also just don't want it to happen. I also just don't want Jokic to win.
I want to see somebody else win it.
I'm sick of it.
I think a little sprinkle on Jalen Brunson wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
That's it. Hey,
if you think they're a top 3 seed, the narrative of them losing Randall for however much time, they were still winning because of Jalen Brunson.
And it's not like they're winning by ways that they can't continue to win. Yeah. They're just playing good defense, shooting okay, and there you go.
Yeah.
You should be all right. I like that. And yeah, I ain't got no hate against SGA. It's just Luka's just, I feel like, playing at a crazy, crazy level this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting once it gets to the ending point of the season and see where teams fall in terms of seeding and everything else like that.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting, though. We have so many good teams. So many teams that are just playing, not as good as they should be, too. I mean, damn, your Golden State Warriors are the 12 seed.
We've lost the most close games in the NBA. It's 9 1-point games.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Lakers one was a killer. But I'm looking at it in terms of okay,
yeah,
we win. You put together a 3-4 game win streak. You're in the plan. And they said it on the broadcast against the Sixers right before the game. We've had the hardest strength of schedule out of any team in the NBA, and it is not close. hardest strength of schedule, and our second half of the season is the like 5th or 6th weakest.
Okay. So you guys just need to see a good second half.
Yeah, which could happen.
You very well can. Very well can.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you got the Jazz in the play-in right now. Like these motherfuckers ain't trying to win.
Like I think if we just string together a good 2 weeks of basketball,
if you,
fine.
Just win like 8 of your next 12, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, and then you also haven't had Chris Paul, Draymond, his whole shit.
Yeah.
So like we've had guys in and out of the lineup. I mean,
the good thing is that's giving you guys at least a chance to look at some of your other guys. Brandon Podashemsky, I can't.
He's our rookie. He's been playing great all year. Kuminga has been playing the best stretch of his career.
I know TJD was playing good. I don't remember his full name. I just remember his initials. Yep.
He was playing.
He was playing okay. So
he was playing good.
It's giving you guys a chance to at least look at some of these younger guys, and maybe once you get everybody back, and
I mean, with the NBA, all you need to do is put together a good 2-3 weeks of basketball. And you'll be right where you really need to be.
At the end of the day, you have Stephen Curry. He can win you any game, I think.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But
you might be all right. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But you want to wrap it up there?
Sure.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope to see you guys tune in to future episodes.